All right, take it away, Yulia.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Yulia. Nice to meet you all. I'm really excited for you guys to be here. Yeah, if you have questions, raise your hand. This is really interactive, so I'm going to talk, but then also you guys will be able to just give insight. I'll ask a lot of questions so that you guys can kind of come up with ideas. So this is a DJ class. Well, it's a social media for DJs. I like to say that this is like the bones, and then you guys have to fill in everything else, right? This is just the bones, and you guys have to put in the muscle and, all of that. But so, yeah. So welcome. So you guys will go first. So tell me about yourself, your favorite magazine growing up, and then movie or show genre you like. So go ahead. Yes.
So the question was, tell me about myself. Well, let's see. I'm a recently turned 55-year-old DJ that waited 20 years to take it up. So trying to be an inspiration for everyone to really not wait. You don't ever know how long you're going to live. So favorite magazine growing up was, I think it was like later in life, but it was called Ray Gun, which was really good. They were well known for graphic design. My movie genre, I would say, is definitely sci-fi.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Nilu. I picked up DJing a year ago and producing less than a year ago. I don't have a favorite magazine. I don't think I.
Maybe a blog.
A blog. I like fitness blogs. Just in general. And then movie genre, I really like thrillers or like murder mysteries. Who doesn't these days? But yeah.
My name is Steven. I've been a DJ for about 20 years. I've been producing for a couple years. I don't have a favorite magazine.
Do you like blog? Any blog?
Blogs?
Yeah.
I'd say maybe like Kanye's blog back in like 2008. It's called like Universe City.
Cool.
Favorite movie, probably The Matrix.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Andrew. I've been a musician for about 25 years. I've been producing on and off for about 10, but seriously for about 5, and DJing for about a year and a half now. My favorite magazine growing up was called Kerrang! It was like a rock and roll magazine, I guess. It was just about different bands that were popular at the time. And then my favorite movie and show genre is comedies. I just like all comedies. I was just like going through the Adam Sandler catalog recently. So
I like that.
Hi, my name is Adrian. My favorite magazine growing up was Cosmopolitan. I was also published in a few fashion magazines. Favorite movie? I mean, recently I just saw that Wolverine Deadpool movie. Did anyone else see that one? I thought that was a pretty good one. And oh yeah, and I just recently bought DJ gear, so I'm just starting. But I did play the piano. I was classically trained since the age of 4 with the Royal Conservatory of Music.
Ah, cool.
Hi everyone, my name is Isis. I go by Goddess of the West. I started as an artist. It's kind of going in and out. Okay, yeah. I started as an artist. Just started DJing this year. See, before I was doing that. Okay, so I've been DJing. I wouldn't even say about a year yet. This year, I wanted to take it up because I felt like it would add a dynamic to my artistry that would be innovative. My favorite magazine growing up and still is Vogue, which I am manifesting a cover. And my favorite movie, I'll say a director is Scorsese. I love gangster movies. And show genre, I guess anything comedy. I loved watching like Fresh Prince growing up. So yeah.
Cool.
What's up, guys? My name is Tyler. DJ, producer, DJ mostly like weddings, corporate gigs, trying to break into nightlife. Favorite magazine, the Toys R Us catalog growing up during Christmas time. Obviously, I grew out of that, but holds a special place in my heart. Favorite movie or show genre, I'd say I like a lot of like thrillers, sci-fis. My favorite movie is probably Heat with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
That's a good mix. Yeah. I'm NC Capo. I'm a recording artist and songwriter from Toronto, Canada. So yeah, shout out to Toronto. Movie? What is it? Magazine first?
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated. I used to like stay stuck on Sports Illustrated, just watching all that stuff, trying to be like those guys, like vicariously live through them. Movie, honestly, anything Robin Williams. I'll say Good Will Hunting holds a special place in my heart. Show and genre, feel good and thriller, but yeah, I can always watch a feel good show.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Shamar. My artist name is Often. I'm a recording artist, and I co-own the agency with Yulia here. Favorite magazine or blog? I was gonna say, like Scholastics. I don't know, or like maybe like Hip Hop DX or something. Like I like favorite movie. Genre, the superhero movies, but like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, I feel like is a great movie, and yeah.
Okay, hi guys. I go by Tapper. I'm a recording artist from Toronto as well. My favorite movie genre has to be action or sci-fi. Interstellar is my favorite movie of all time. Like that movie makes me cry every time. So yeah. Favorite show genre is comedy. Usually if I watch TV, I want to laugh. And I save the serious stuff for like movies and such. So yeah.
Magazine or blog?
Oh, favorite magazine and blog is Complex. I like Complex. Yeah, I feel like they've been consistent over the years. So yeah.
You can just go ahead.
Hi friends, I'm Vora. I make cinematic electronic dance. And I just saw the new Alien yesterday, which was always fun, always creepy. They hit all the stereotypes, so it's gotta be like a solid 8, but like it was beautiful. And I love like ID and Dazed magazine.
Hi, my name is Laval, also known as Big L, from the Bahamas. Thank you. I am a DJ as well as a radio personality. Favorite magazine or blog, I would say all Complex too. I like reading some hip-hop news and stuff like that. Movie, more of a comedy, action kind of guy. The most recent movie I liked would probably be the Deadpool versus Wolverine. Top notch.
Hi, my name is DJ AI, also from the Bahamas. Resident at Atlantis Hotel, radio DJ as well. Same as Big L, Deadpool and Wolverine's last good thing I watch. Thank you.
Do you want to talk? Okay. So I'm Yulia. I'm a social media strategist. I've been doing this for a very long time. I've worked in agency work, so I've done agency work for movies, TV. Also done work in radio as well. I used to talk on the radio too. And the only reason I did it is because my boss said I could do social media on the side, so that's why I did it. I also, in college, I helped raise $500,000 in venture capital for a startup. It didn't go anywhere, but I did learn a lot about social media through that process. And so from there was the inception of my whole career, wanting to just understand social media and then produce content as well. Which takes me to the next part of this presentation, which is these are two very important keys to have in social media. In the past, you just had to have a camera, take a picture, write a caption, get a little clip, write a caption, and that was enough. And you got followers, people cared. People don't care anymore. because the algorithms really need you to have more skills. And the skills are editorial skills. That's why I asked you, what is your favorite magazine? Because now you have to become an editor-in-chief of your own virtual blog magazine. And then also you need short form video, filmmaking skills. So those are two very important skills you need to have. You can make videos, but what are you making videos about? And the most important, or the best ways to make videos is if you make editorial content. Pretending like you're a magazine editor and this is your magazine, or this is your blog and this is what people are reading, but you're just making it into a video. I was also an anthropology minor in college, so I really love anthropology. And it's really important to understand the technology and how it's evolved and how we as people that live in 2024 have access to all of this technology. So the most important technology that we've ever had as humans is the knife. That is what brought us to this point in our civilization. And then after that was a printing press, and that's where you get newspapers, then you get pictures and video. So, and then you have radio. This used to be radio, like it was furniture. And then the radio companies invented the television in the US. And so here's television. People didn't buy televisions until after World War II, and the only reason they bought it is because they wanted to watch sports on TV, live sports. And then you have the reel, or the movie reel. And that's a really important invention because so you're having television and movies are basically competing with each other because when you have a television in your home, are you going to go to the movies? But yeah, but these two technologies are really important. And then you have the video game. The video game console was really important because now we got to control the television. We got to play on television. Television was just a way to broadcast to us. It wasn't a way to communicate with each other. But the video game console gave us the ability to kind of like control the television. And then from there came the computer. And then also the VHS camera was an important invention as well because we got to record ourselves and then we got to put it on TV through the VHS tape, or put it on a VHS tape and then put it on the VCR. And now we got to be the stars of our own movies, TV shows that we were watching at home. And then was the record player, and as DJs, that is a very important invention, where you have a piece of technology that is made to broadcast out, but DJs were able to scratch, right? And then it became a technology where it was a communication, it was an instrument. And then from there you have the Walkman. That was a really important invention as well. The Walkman actually, I read an article, or it was in a book, that Steve Jobs was so inspired by the Walkman and he modeled the iPod, like the way you hold it after that. And then you have the CD-ROM, and so if you guys, I have a documentary recommendation for you guys for this. There's a documentary called When Music Was Free. It's on Paramount Plus or something, and it's a really good documentary about how Napster and all of these like illegal websites where people were downloading music illegally. But the CD-ROM, or the CD-ROM was a very important part of collapsing the music industry. And then you have the iPhone. So now all of this technology gets basically shrunk into, our phones, right? So let me show you this video, and I'm gonna speed it up. Hold on. Yeah, so that's basically what happened for technology. We have so much power in our phones, but that also means we have to develop skills that were taken from these other industries like television and movies and the printing press, which is magazines, right, and newspapers. Now we have to become movie directors. We have to become like editors and chiefs of our own magazines for our own channels. And so that's the core of social media, especially right now because of short form video. So social media is a video game. It's just a game. It's there was this one quote, I forget, I think it was Kanye. He said, guys play video games, girls play Instagram or something like that. That's their favorite video game. But yeah, social media is very much like a video game. You're getting hearts and you're getting reactions and you're getting likes. And like the stats for men and women on social media is very equal. It's 50-50, especially for TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube as well. Yeah, so first you need to develop your avatar. In any video game, you need to know who this person is. Who are you? Like, what are you going to show to people, especially if you're the person that's going to show your talent on camera? You have to figure out who is this person, this protagonist that we're going to follow along on this game. And then you have to figure out the game, how do you play this game? What is this game? Each social media platform is a game. So Instagram has its own rules Facebook has its own rules. TikTok has its own rules. You have to figure out, what are these rules? How do you play this game? And the thing with video games is they tell you how to play the game. These short form video, these platforms do not teach you how to play the game. They don't tell you how to play. They just give you the basics and you have to figure it out. And then you have to learn how to play. So then that's how you make content and build content. So you're gonna learn 3 things in this workshop. You're gonna learn how to build a brand deck. And if you do take our class, we can work, I will help you build the brand deck in class. But I'll just show you what it looks like. And then we'll learn a little bit more about social media strategy, the history of social media, and then what are these algorithms? What is this algorithm? People keep talking about that. What are the most cutting edge algorithms right now? And then short form video production. How do you produce a video? How do you make content? What do you make content about? So first things first, you have to build a protagonist. We need to figure out who you are first. We have to figure out what am I going to show to people? What do I want to show people? So the first thing I do with students is I have them fill out a questionnaire. And so in the questionnaire, they can fill out who they are, what they like, what are their favorite things, what do they want. And I'll give you an example here of Shamar Often's deck. And this is what you will fill out in class. So your about section, and then your social media persona. So who is this person that we are following along on this journey on social media? And so this is his favorite things, who he likes, what are the characteristics of this person, what are their favorite art, like what do they love, what kind of music do they like, what kind of art do they like, what are their favorite movies, TV shows, who are their favorite actors, fashion, what do they like, any food they like, colors, anything. It's like get nitty gritty, because that will help you build content. The more information you know about yourself, the more you will know, this is a content I want to make. Because then you'll make some really cool content where it could be like, I make content about, I don't know, like you can get very, like my content is about teaching, but it's about like trade secrets and finding secrets, because I love anthropology, so like finding secrets within things that are not in the open. So that's my favorite thing. Okay. So then you'll have an archetype. So what is your archetype? Everybody has an archetype. You have multiple archetypes, 1 or 2. So we can go around the room and share our archetypes. So you can pick 1 or multiple. So if you look at this, like if you think of Drake, for example, Drake is very much a lover, and he's seen as a ruler. And like for like Kendrick Lamar, he can be seen as an outlaw and a sage. So you have different people have different archetypes, and this really, really helps when you are building content. So do you want to go first?
You have more than one, right?
Yes, of course.
I would definitely say explorer, lover, and jester.
Cool.
I identify mainly with just explorer.
Okay.
Creator, explorer.
Yeah, creator, explorer, and ideally one day innovation.
I'm going to say caregiver.
Creator, caregiver, hero, magician, explorer. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with explorer, creator, and jester. Maybe sage too.
Cool.
I'll stay in the pursue connection side. Lover boy and jester, pretty much around there.
I could see that. I could see that.
For me, it's like sage, magician, and jester. Yeah.
Definitely creator, ruler, and explorer. Yeah.
Creator, ruler, jester, lover, explorer.
Oh, no.
I would go with ruler, jester, and lover.
I resonate with magician, sage, and explorer.
I like it.
Explorer, magician, and the hero.
I like it. Okay, cool. So now you have to figure out, as a protagonist, right? You have to figure out who's your antagonist. So who are you fighting against? It could be a concept. It could be a person. It doesn't have to be an actual human. It doesn't have to be, but it could be a concept. So for me, it's the advertising agency, advertising world. I hate them with the fashion. They are my arch nemesis. I hate ads. I love marketing and I love storytelling, but I hate ads. So that's my arch nemesis. So everybody think about what your arch nemesis is. So who is your arch nemesis?
Limitation.
Okay, I like it.
I need to think about it.
Okay, that's fine.
I'd say gatekeeping.
Okay.
Currently, the algorithm.
Okay.
I second that for the algorithm.
Being boxed in, self-limiting beliefs projected upon me. So, yeah.
I like that.
I'd say art that's created to imitate trends and like content that feels like an ad and trying to sell you something.
Antagonist. That goes against like.
Who you are, yeah. Like who are you fighting against, or it could be yourself.
Myself.
Okay.
Myself. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say my antagonist is other people's fears.
I'll go with the same thing actually, that and just self-limitations. So yeah.
Pass it back. You pass it to them?
Oh, definitely the algorithm.
Okay.
I would have to say, well, I don't know if this would fall like, but disorganization, procrastination, things along those lines.
Okay.
I think my antagonists are definitely, I have a list, like violence against women and animals, extraction, slavery, and subjugation.
Mediocrity.
Okay, so, and then once you figure out your antagonist, so you know who you are as a protagonist, you understand your antagonist, and then you figure out why you're doing what you're doing, and then what is your why, and then how do you do that? And we'll explore that more in our class if you do take the class. But yeah, so like, why are you doing what you're doing? How do you do it? And then what are you, like your archetype goes there. So the how is what we're gonna learn later in the class, but the why, that's on you. Like what are you, that comes from you. Like why am I doing this? And here's an example. And then also feelings. What feelings do you want people to feel? That's really important because some people want, how do you connect with others? You have to figure out what feelings you want them to feel. Because a lot of people, when they make content, they want them to buy something. That's not a feeling, right? And so that's but that's the feeling they put forth. And so like for me, I like for people to feel inspired. I like them to have like aha moments, like transformation, like, oh yeah, that's, you know, I used to love math, or I love math still, but when I was a kid, I used to do math for fun because it was so fun to figure out that, you know, that aha moment. So you gotta, those are my feelings. I won't, but we'll explore that more as well. But yeah, think about those feelings that you want people to feel. And then you build your origin story. So what is your origin story? Your origin story does not change because it already happened, right? So the story about yourself, like how did you become a DJ? How did you become an artist, a creative? What was that spark? You know, what happened? Like when did you get bit by a spider? When, like what is that origin story? And write it down, put it in a journal, and like study it, because that's what a publicist does with you. They will help you write your origin story, and that's what you'll tell. And then when people like get media trained, that's what they're literally just retelling their origin story over and over and over again in many different ways. So yeah, so that's a really important piece. So even if you want to make a piece of content, that's an idea right there. How did I start? How did I become a DJ? Like I just bought my DJ equipment, for example, here, or your origin story. So people kind of told their origin stories. So just, you know, flesh it out, like make a video about it. Okay, so the next part is going to be social media. Social media is not real. It's not the real world. It's a virtual world, and we're just capturing it on our phones. We're taking pictures of it, but it's not the real world. It's just it's like a, I don't know. It lives in servers in other spaces, but it's not real. And so with that said, it has affected our real lives though. And I'll go over the music industry a little bit, but please watch that documentary. It's really good. How music became free. It talks more about this. But music was a product. People used to sell, the record labels used to sell products, right? So CDs, tapes. This is just the 90s. And people used to, there was a lot of marketing behind selling this product. So you had to go on a TV show, you were on the radio, you went to the magazine, wrote an article about you, you made a music video, and then you could buy the stuff at the store and you go watch your favorite artist in concert. That was the model for selling music. And then as the internet started coming to life, you had spaces like Napster and LimeWire where people were illegally downloading music. So then now music became technology. It no longer became a physical product. It became an MP3 or a WAV file. And then iTunes came along and then sold music for $1, $1.99 or something for a song. And then the internet started infiltrating the marketing as well. So you had spaces like MySpace and YouTube and then blogs where artists and creatives were selling or just sharing their music with others. But before that, you didn't have access. You needed to be part of the system. Now the system was collapsing. And then 2010s, you had spaces like SoundCloud, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, where you were able to like add your music to these distribution spaces and people could listen to your music, and you no longer needed the big record labels to push you. Now you could hack the system, and that's where we have things like DatPiff. I think was a really important part of the music industry, especially in hip hop and R&B, because artists were able to put their music there, and then we as listeners would select them as we select you, we love you, we're choosing to listen to your music. We didn't, like radio didn't force us to love you, or TV didn't force us to love you. We love you because we found you. And so that discoverability was such it still has an impact today. I mean, what are the most famous artists right now? Drake, J. Cole, these people that were part of the DatPiff era and the blog era. And then 2020s, now we're here, 2020. We have TikTok. TikTok changed everything for everyone. It changed everything for media companies. It changed everything for every company, because this algorithm is so powerful. And then you have Reels and YouTube Shorts as well. And so now music and everything exists on these short form algorithms, and it's kind of collapsed into one place. So look at the timelines of when each platform became popular or was released, and how the music industry started to collapse. And so now music is marketing. It's technology, it's marketing, and people really don't sell music. So now what do we sell? We're selling our stories. That's what we're sharing, our connecting our stories with people. And so as an artist, we have so much more power. Well, I'll go over this, but so the most important thing about these short form social media platforms is you have to understand features. It's not about who's the most popular, it's about what features they're trying to push. And so in the 2000s, they were trying to push unedited photos, status updates, and long form video. And then in 2010s, they were pushing DMs, which was Snapchat, edited photos, which was, or filtered photos, which was Instagram, and then look at long form video. It's staying very, very stable. And then 2020s, now you have short form video, DMs. So Instagram started off as a space to take pictures and filter pictures, but now it's like a space for DMs, and it kind of stole Reels. Reels is just like an imitation of TikTok. And so these platforms started off as something, but they are not that anymore, especially Instagram. And so if people are just posting pictures on their feeds, they're not gonna go viral. You're not gonna get an audience. You're not building community outside of the one you already have, because you're not using the features they are trying to push. In many ways, you're basically like their free employee. You're not getting paid, but supposedly you'll make money if you go viral. Well, you will get money if you go viral, the point is, like, how do you use these features to your advantage? So here are the rules to play this game. That's what an algorithm is. It's just rules to play the game. And the rules change all the time. So my goal is, how do I find specific rules that we can use that don't really change? And so I thought about Facebook and old Instagram is like high school. You're basically giving people a status update. You're saying, look what I did today. I'm at Skam Summer. I'm here. I'm there. It's just a status update. Everybody knows you already. You know them. You're just giving them a status update. So how do you sign up for an old Instagram, for example? So you go to Instagram, you find your friends, you follow them, and then you see something on your feed. And then that's how the feed feeds you information. But with TikTok's algorithm, with these short form algorithms, they are basically a virtual third place. It's a space where people are connecting based off their interests, not their friends. So if you're interested in DJing, if you're interested in fitness, if you're interested in reading, whatever it is, that's how the algorithm categorizes you. It doesn't categorize you off your friends. And so the process of signing up for TikTok or short form algorithms, you sign up and then you just see something automatically. And then as you keep scrolling through, the algorithm starts to map you and it becomes a mirror of you. You're basically being shown yourself back on this algorithm. It's not showing you your friends, it's showing you yourself through other people's content. So there's an example where I had COVID and like the algorithm was like, oh, don't you hate when you have COVID? And I'm like, how did it know I had COVID? Like, what the fuck? But that, like, it knows that I'm Mexican American, knows I speak Spanish and English, like it'll show me like Spanglish content. So it knows you, it starts to map you, and that's the key to understanding these short form algorithms. They're based off interests, they're not based off friendships. So that's why it's so important for you to understand your protagonist and understand who you are so that you can share your interests back to the algorithm and to the people on it. So don't focus on friends, focus on your interests. So one of my students asked, like, can you give me another example? I don't understand this mirror analogy. So I said, if it's basically like you're being auto-subscribed to a subreddit, so you're on this algorithm and it's mapping you out. And it's figuring out who you are and you're not subscribing to any of it. It's just showing it to you. And the way you subscribe is you're stopping a little, you look at the comments, you like the video, you just stay on there too long, it knows, oh, this person likes this content. You could hate that content, but because you're on it, it's gonna say, oh, I'm gonna feed this person more of this content so the person could stay on this platform longer. So, so basically, when you're making content, when you're producing it back to people, you have to think about it as you're a protagonist in an anthology series. Because the people on these platforms don't know you. They don't know who you are. They're not your friends. They don't follow you most of the time. So if you look at some of the stats, your content is being pushed to 80 to 90% of non-followers, which means that most people who see you on their feed, even if you have 1 million followers, they don't know who you are. They've never seen you before. And so this is what broke Instagram's algorithm, was TikTok's algorithm. Because in the past, Instagram used to charge you to get to 80 to 90% of non-followers. But TikTok said, I'm gonna give it to you for free. And this is why TikTok is so powerful. The TikTok algorithm is so powerful and it's changing the way we make and use social media, is because TikTok said, let them have virality, let them have it. We don't care, we're not gonna make money off of that. And so now Instagram is changing the way they push your content. Now they're letting you, for free, access non-followers. And in the past, you had to pay for those numbers. So when you're making content, think about that. Think about, when I'm making this piece of content, these people don't know me, they've never seen me before, I'm gonna basically reintroduce myself, but I'm not gonna say, hey, I'm Yulia, guys. Like, I'm not gonna say that, but I will give a little gist of who I am to them. So I'm, in every video, think of it like an anthology. I'm just sharing a piece of information about myself, and I don't have to watch this video, my first video, to understand the 10th video. They'll get it, they'll be part of the process. And so if you look at this graph that I made here, this is what this is basically the way that the algorithm works. So this is you, and these are your videos. You don't have to follow along on this journey with me to access the videos, right? You will understand this video, and then you watch this video, and it all makes sense. And that's the difference from Instagram. Instagram is all about, you have to follow, especially old Instagram, you have to follow along the journey. They don't have to follow along your journey. They will just access information through a circle. Okay. All right, so this is one of my favorite videos that I show students. So this is, a lot of people are like, how do I start a movement? How do I get followers? Like, how do I connect with people on social media? So here's a really fun video that I love showing. Okay, let's see. Oh, is it working? Oh, there it goes. Actually, this is not the video. Yeah, Yeah, so I really love that video because it teaches us the diffusion of innovation, which is a really important graph that I mentioned. I majored in math, so I love math. And this is one of the most important graphs to show you trends. So people use this for fashion trends. You can use this for adoption of anything. So the first is the shirtless dancing guy, which is right here. And then eventually you had the first followers that were coming in. And then you had here, more people were coming, and then you hit the tipping point, which is, I think it's about like 24.5% or so. And then automatically, he said it tipped, and then you have automatic this. So your job as a content creator, as a producer, as a creative, is like to nurture enough followers up to 25% of the mass market, and then the rest will come on its own. You will get the early majority and the late majority, and people will adopt whatever it is that you are connecting with them. But yeah, so it's a really good lesson when it comes to content production and then also community management. When somebody is messaging you or when someone's leaving a comment, hopefully it's nice. Respond to them and say thank you, ask them a question, like really nurture those few people, even if it's one person, because sometimes people will be like, oh, only 200 people saw my video, and one person left a comment. Well, respond to that person, because I bet you if you respond to them, the algorithm is going to show them your video again next time because they saw that you engage with them and they engage with you. And so just continue to make content, and you're basically like a social media scientist in many ways, because you're testing out the content and you're testing out what works and what doesn't, and you just keep improving. But make sure you're nurturing the followers, make sure you nurture them, because they're really important for things like this, because they're not going to be your friends, especially in short form video, short form algorithms. Most people don't know you, so when they do respond or make a comment, it's at a genuine space. They want to know or understand whatever it is that you're sharing. Okay, so the goal is, like I said, we are trying to understand how to be editors-in-chief of our own blog or magazine, and we also are learning how to be video content producers, filmmakers. Basically, we're telling stories on social media. And so how do you transform your brand into a media company? Because a lot of people are like, oh, have a brand, and then people just start promoting. But it's not about the promotion, it's about how do you make media? How do you make something that people can take home with them, that they can use and share with others? And so that's the goal, is making yourself into a media company. And so I like to say that we love that when people become their own media. So like what we do is we like interview yourself, sit down in front of a camera and interview yourself. Like I said, if you want to tell your origin story, here's one of my mentors. When he first started making content, he had like 20,000 followers, and I asked him a question. I said, why doesn't LA Radio play LA artists? And then he made a little video, and then I told him, I gave him some strategy for how to post the video, and now he has 100,000 followers today on Instagram. And so that's really great. And then also tell your story. So keep telling your story, keep sharing your story with people. Okay, so now next is how do we flesh out this editorial content that we're gonna make? So we'll go around the room and just really think about this. What are the 4 things? Think about 4 editorial pieces of content that you think you can make for your platform. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put this at the end, and then you guys can share. I'll give you some ideas first, and then we'll talk about it. So let's go here. All right, so I'll give you some ideas first before I ask you that question. So we have to understand short form video. So I'll give you some examples. Short form video is basically like a free sample. That's all it is. You're giving people a very genuine free sample. So when you go to Costco and you get a piece of, a cookie or a cake, it's an advertisement, yes, but it's kind of like they're giving you a full product. Like they're giving you a sample of the actual product, and you're tasting it, and you're like, I like this, and then you buy the bag or you buy the container or whatever it is. The same thing with your content. The same thing with anything you're doing. You're giving them a genuine free sample of who you are, and then they're gonna buy either the show or they're gonna buy your book or whatever it is that you're selling. So first we have to find the purpose of the video. So the first, here are some ideas for you guys. Tutorials. Can you make tutorials? So think about, does that fit what I'm trying to make? Should I make tutorials about DJing? Should I make tutorials about how I went to go buy DJ equipment? What does it take? What am I looking for? Especially as a new DJ, how do I do that? So think about tutorials, and if that's something that you want to focus on, like I want to focus on tutorials. Tutorials are really good because they do really well, not only on TikTok, they do really well on YouTube as well. So think about that. Do you want to make tutorial content? Skits. Are you into skits? Maybe like, for example, you said you're a wedding DJ. Maybe like make a funny skit, like song, like I don't know. It depends on what your brand is, but maybe like a funny skit of the people dancing or like things that you see at weddings. Maybe like some skits or skits about being a DJ. What are those skits, right? So think about skits. Also story time, telling stories. Let's say you came to Skam Summer and you documented the whole process and what you learned and what you did. So tell that story. It's like you're making a little mini documentary about yourself. So this is where you have to think about the movie industry. So what does the movie and TV industry do? They make a movie, but then they also have a documentarian documenting the whole process, because they not only release the movie, they also release the behind the scenes. So think about that as well. Not only are you telling a story, what happened, also is there a documentarian space too in there? Put on your documentarian hat, and are you making a documentary about I just started being a DJ. This is what happened this year, or whatever it is, right? So what is the story you're telling? Another one is blogs. So this is more daily things. So daily things that you're doing. This is another idea. Maybe you want to share your daily life. Some people don't know what it takes to be a producer, a creative. Like for me, I'm doing a weekly blog where I share what I do as a social media strategist, because people are like, what is that? What do you mean? What do you do? And so I'm making a video about that. Like, what did I do this week? Also challenges. This used to work a lot more when we were in the pandemic, but challenges work well too, like dance challenges. Is there like a dance? Depends on the song, especially as a creative. Commentary and reviews. So can you make a commentary, or can you review an album? Like depending on your brand, can you review something? Maybe you could go back in time and review an album from or a DJ set from the 1980s or something. Maybe review music from the past, commentary on things from the past, not only the present as well. So think about that. Can you make commentary about something? Can you review something? Another one is listicles. Can you give us top 5 things you need to know before you start DJing? Top 5 things that whatever it is. Can you make a listicle? What are the listicles? What is that? What kind of ideas can you think of? And then I like invitation videos. I don't like promo videos. I like invitations. So like inviting people to an event, inviting people to come. So do you make invitation videos as well? So it's another idea that you can use for your content. News. Are you sharing the news with people? My mentor, he's going viral because he's like breaking news. And so are you breaking some news? Are you sharing news about a specific niche in your industry? What are you sharing that news? Like think about if you were, like what news would you share? Because you can do tutorials, you can do news. There's so much you could do. And then, so here are the styles of recording these videos. So for short form, it's very, very much like the movie industry. What was the first movie, like the first movies that people watched? It was silent films. That's what people watched. It was just people on the screen, and then there was an orchestra. That's what TikTok was in the beginning. It was just a silent film. People were pointing and exaggerating their movements with music, right? Silent film. It very much mimics the movie industry. And then there's memes, video memes. These are really fun because they could be meme sounds. So sounds could be a meme. A dance could be a meme. Anything could be a meme. And so are you joining memes? And does that fit what you're trying to push? If you're more a serious content creator, maybe that might not fit. But that's also an idea, making memes as well. Talking on camera. Are all your videos just talking on camera? Like, are you just talking directly? Like a FaceTime call. That's why these videos are so powerful, because it feels like somebody's calling you on FaceTime and they're talking to you. So that's a strategy you can use. Green screen. These are my favorite. This is what I use as a teacher. Use green screen videos. This is more for people who are more journalists. Some people like, I like the gossip videos, so gossiping stuff. But this is a really good strategy too for sharing information as well. Voiceover content. This is a little bit more for documentary style content. So any voiceover, especially for like vlogs or day in the life or story time, voiceover content really works well. And then a scene pool. So the scene pool is basically you have a bigger video, like a 2-3 hour, or it could be 20-minute video on YouTube, and then you cut it down into clips. But how do you cut those clips? And the way that I tell my students, I say, pretend like you put on your news hat or put on your publicist hat and think, does this clip push the narrative forward? Is this person, depends on what you're talking about or that person's talking about, but like, how is this thing important? And like, what would be the title of this video? And so that's how you know that's a clip that you want to use. For example, we went to see, what was his name? The NBA player? Yeah, Russell Westbrook, and he was talking, and I got some clips of him, and he was talking about his advice for people. And he said, would you take a shortcut? And he said, no, I rather go through the process because a shortcut is not going to teach me the process. And so that I'm making a clip out of that. So I'm clipping that, and I'm going to add a title saying, his name, and adding in like what he said, and then adding captions. So I'm like now I'm a journalist, right? So that's part of a video for a longer clip. So now it's your turn. So 1 or 4, from 1 to 4. What do you have any ideas? Does this spark anything for you in terms of editorial content? You're like, oh, I'll make tutorials about this. So give me one idea that sparked for you.
I like to do photo shoots as a way of like visual storytelling for myself. It's kind of a expensive endeavor, but maybe I think something that I usually do, which is just post the photos, is kind of talk more about it and maybe tease before releasing, as if the shoot was like a larger project where I'm like teasing clips and like process of it before I actually release it, and then maybe even a process video after.
Process video, like that.
Not so much of the tutorial, but I want to start producing, and I want to kind of like get people on the journey with me as starting producing. So kind of like start with me and people to follow journey with me.
Okay.
And that.
Yeah.
Also like podcast, have conversations.
Those are good. Okay, so tutorials or like a story time, like follow along, and then podcast.
And probably like the music reviews. Like
music
going to
reviews.
different genres of music, albums or something. Just like, as far as like not so much of the critic, but hey, this is like what I like, what I discover, and just sharing.
I like that. Cool. Do you want to share? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think kind of riffing off of what she was just saying is being able to talk to either labels or producers that I find I play often in my sets, and maybe generating some like relationship conversation. Yeah.
So featuring, would you record, would you interview
I don't know,
them?
it could be an I don't know, maybe it would be recording it, because what I'm getting from what you're sharing here is it's more oriented around TikTok, right? But being able to do a short form, really simple almost interview where, these individuals are relevant to me and to the genres that I like, and what new things are they creating, and then bringing that forward, because people that I play for like this music and they like these labels, so it'd be kind of fun to showcase what they're up to.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. But cool. I know maybe that's 2 podcasts, but that would be fun.
No, I mean, podcasts are really powerful because they tell stories, right? And then, so you become the authority figure of the space. So yeah.
Yeah.
So what I've done so far is posting about DJ transitions or songs that I found that week that were cool, or posting videos about a remix I made, how I made it, not like a step-by-step how to, just, hey, I added these elements and now it's a remix. So more so like that, but what you're talking about is inspiring me to talk about my story. I don't think I've taken the time to flesh that out yet. So I think I want to incorporate more of my story, because I think at the audience that I'm going for, of course, I'm in the beginning of this trying to figure that out, but the audience I'm going for is people who like the music that I'm putting out. And necessarily I'm looking for teaching people how to make music on my platform. So yeah, I think that's a good way of connect with people through your story.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
For me, I mostly do reaction content, reacting to like DJ fails, or if somebody's grandma is in the crowd at EDC, like turning up to some dubstep, funny videos, like cringy, like, oh my God, you just broke some CDJs kind of videos. And then on top of that, I also do beat challenges.
Mm-hmm,
I try to like incorporate sounds from nature.
Mhm.
I'll try to like make drums only using like the
Mhm.
buttons on my PS5 controller or something. Things like that.
Do you have any? Did any of the things that I highlighted did it spark anything for you where you're like, oh, maybe that's another editorial piece I can make?
Yeah, I'd say the commentary
Mm-hmm.
and the list. I don't
Mhm.
typically do the list, but I
Mhm.
see that gets a lot of engagement.
Yeah, cool.
Something that you said that really struck a chord with me was just the speaking into the camera, and that's the type of content I really haven't done. I don't know if it's just because I'm like just shy or scared of the results or whatever, but I think what you said, it's just like a FaceTime call. I find myself watching videos that come up on my feed more often when there's like somebody's face is right there. So I like that, and I like the idea of using that maybe as an avenue to tell my story, maybe casually speak about the music I'm putting out, even in not as detailed as like a teaching moment, but just to kind of dig in a little bit in a more casual way about what's going on, what's in the music, what's in the song. So yeah,
Mhm.
I like the idea of that very personal kind of casual connection. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, cool.
On my work account, I've created the type of videos where you use a voiceover and
Mhm.
just kind of describe like the day-to-day of what I'm doing. This gained, like the company that it is for wanted to reshare this with, we needed to get permission, but I haven't seen anything yet. But I
Mhm.
didn't get much traction in terms of my followers or any new followers or likes
Mhm.
or anything. So
Mhm.
I want to know what I'm doing wrong.
For what? Sorry.
An Instagram reel.
What was on the reel?
It was like a voiceover. Just
Oh, okay.
talking about what I'm doing.
And what were you sharing?
My work.
Oh, like DJing or?
No, in dental.
Oh, cool. Okay. I would have to
I
watch
thought
it.
I'd just show it to you.
Okay, let's see it. What is it? What is it called?
CAD/CAM specialist trainer.
Okay. Spell it.
CADCAM.
Uh-huh.
Specialist trainer.
Did I spell it right? Specialist. Oh God. Trainer. Did I spell it right? No, I didn't. Hold on, I'll find it. Like that? Here? No. What the heck? Okay, let's try this again. Okay, like that?
Yes.
Here? Okay, which
The
one?
very first one.
This one?
See what you think. Hands-on prime scan intraoral training. Are you ready to be prime? No, sorry, not this one, the second one then.
Oh,
My
okay.
bad. Welcome to a prime scan training with our friends from Beyond Dental in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We went over how to calibrate and maintain the prime scan, how to do a biocopy if they are undergoing clear aligner therapy or have a night guard or a sleep appliance or any other device so that we can copy the anatomy of their tooth so that their device will still fit with minimal adjustments afterwards. We reviewed bite correlation for the path of insertion.
Let me see how many. So you said you didn't get a lot of views this one, right? I would say like very quickly, and this is a good example. You have to start talking right away. It has to start. Like, there's people call it the millennial pause. No pause, just start
Hook them
right
right in,
away.
right?
What's that?
You have to hook them right in somehow.
Yeah. So, but also.
Like as somebody who doesn't know anything about this, like as a stranger, right? Like if this is going to strangers, I'm like totally, I have no clue what I'm looking at. Like
Yeah.
I need to like really dumb it down. Like this is what you need when you have this, and this is why this would be useful. Because I'm like, I don't know what this is for and like why I would need it. Does that make sense? Like as somebody who just like has some context.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be the same for like if you're making tutorials for DJs. You have to start right away, and there has to. It feels too like an advertisement. Like your voice even sounds like I'm listening to an advertisement, and so. If you would have done a green screen video where you were on screen and you were talking, because people love eye contact, that's why FaceTime videos do so well, because your eyes, they're watching your facial expressions. Like one thing about humans that will never change is we are social beings, and so we want to see faces. So the videos with face do the best. So even if there's no face on camera, add a green screen where you're on the video. So I'll show you one. Like, here's a really difficult video that we shot. I'll show it to you. Because, let me see, where is it? This one. It's a really difficult video to shoot.
See what it knows.
But
I'm going to test this AI and see what it knows about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. This is FYI.ai, and I'm going to talk to one of the AI personalities. Kendrick Lamar dropped 2 diss tracks against Drake. Can you tell me about the tracks that were dropped?
Oh, yo, what's up, fam? So, Kendrick Lamar just dropped 2 massive diss tracks aimed straight at Drake, you feel me? The first one is called Euphoria, and it's, pretty brutal, fam. Kendrick really didn't hold back. Kendrick came through with another heavy hitter called 616 in LA. This track digs even deeper, going in on Drake's love for memes and how he's been trying to play the game, but Kendrick's calling out that it's all a facade.
So with all this information, who do you think is winning this battle right now?
Well, you know, in the realm of hip-hop, it's all about the bars, the flow, and how you handle the beef, you feel me? And looking at the sheer skill and audacity Kendrick Lamar has shown with these 2 diss tracks, Euphoria and 616 in LA, it's like he's leading the charge in this battle.
I've been watching Breaking Bad. In Breaking Bad, who do you think each rapper is?
So, let's start with Kendrick Lamar. He's got to be Walter White. You know what I mean? Like, Walter, Kendrick is a mastermind, meticulously crafting his art, and when he drops something, it's pure and has a massive impact. Now, for Drake, he's giving off those Gustavo Fring vibes, you feel me? Drake, like Gus, is smooth, always seems to be one step ahead in the game, and has a certain charm and business acumen that resonates with a broad audience.
So it was up to date with what was happening with the rap beef, and I threw in a trick question about the Breaking Bad answer, and it gave a really human response, which was really awesome. I'm going to test.
So there's a person on camera at all times, even if you're talking to a phone, and it's like an AI phone, and so there's a human interaction there. There's people talking, and so that's always the key, is when a person's on camera, like making sure there's always space on camera, because even in the video, because people only give you 3 seconds, and then because here it's like the teeth, right, but there's no human there. It's a machine, right? And so maybe trying to like flesh out a little bit more about why people, so my question is why people should care, and that's always when I make any video. Why should people care? What am I giving them? Am I giving them information? Am I giving them insights? What am I giving people, and why should they care about what I'm talking about? Because there's this guy who makes videos about rare books. I don't know anything about rare books, but he makes you care. So it's like, how do you hook people for them to care? And so, you know, that's the advice I would give. It's just more face on camera, and then like really when you're scripting, and we'll talk about that next, scripting, like really understanding like why. Who's next? Okay.
So I would say a type of video that I've done that I felt gets pretty good engagement is I've done like a foodie tour where it's like vegan things around LA. Some are like soul food, some are like fusion, some are, you know, but just giving my perspective. Something that you said that stood out to me that I'm definitely curious and excited to try is the listicles, I guess. I'd like to do like my favorites, and then maybe I could do like, these are my favorites, you know, boom, 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 and then like see how that does. And, or even applying it to the theory of DJing, maybe it could be like a live, like my favorites, and then like, you know, like, and then just kind of transition it into my next favorite, or, you know, or what's hot.
Yeah, I like that. Because I think because a lot of people, some people will just do like one genre or one thing, but when you fuse them together, like let's say you mix something together, then you make something totally different. There's this model fashion TikToker, and he does like, he dresses up as like characters in anime. He dresses up as like the people, like the Olympic countries, things like that. So he's fusing like his favorite things to fashion. And so that's a great idea, is how do I fuse what I love about food with DJing, and you know, like, so that's also a good one. I like it.
Cool.
Thank you. Oh, I think they went already. Oh, they already went. Yeah.
I think I could see myself doing like satire videos of like certain trends that are popular within my niche, like DJing and producing. Like one is I see DJs doing like, how much of a Travis Scott fan are you? And it starts out like 10%, like the most obvious song, 20%, 30%. Once you get to like 100%, it's like a niche song. Those are cool, but I see a lot of people doing those and it doesn't really make you stand out. So I would like to do like a satire of it. Like, you're not a true hip hop fan unless you know these songs, and it's like Aaron Carter, Vanilla Ice, like stuff that's not really hip hop, but you're still capitalizing off of a popular trend.
I like
so
that.
you're kind of gaming the algorithm and making yourself stand out, or something like that.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
For me, I guess being like a songwriter and recording artist, it'd be like to bring people to see the day in the life and see how I go about my process and creating from maybe beginning to end, and show the ins and outs of that. I usually just do fun, cool stuff with my friends, so I just have like a camera just hanging around to catch a lot of funny moments that kind of happen. Obviously, like some lip syncing stuff with videos into my songs and stuff, and anything else randomly that kind of pops up that involves my music or like the sports I play and stuff like that. Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know. Like, I'm showing my examples here. So,
Is there a new one that you're working on?
One that I'm working on.
Like, do you want to share that idea you had, or no?
I don't even know. Which idea was that? Because I'm like, I feel like we've been going nonstop. I don't know.
Was it like rapping to people? I think it was. Oh, freestyling.
I mean,
challenges.
One that I thought was like new that we haven't done is like in terms of like hip hop, maybe like starting to freestyle more again to make like rap fun. Like there's this idea where Big Sean's gonna be at the Grand Museum in September. So I was like, in the way the Grammy Museum works is sort of like this invisible wall that people are respecting, even though it's very close quarters. So like I was like thinking I could, I don't know, instead of asking a question, like freestyle to Big Sean at that moment, and then see how that goes, and then just see what he does or says, and then some reactionary stuff, like kind of like in real life, like what happens when like, you know, like rap to a rapper.
Yeah. But make it fun.
But like try to make like, I guess like hip hop like more fun again. Like, sort of like how, like kind of like how La Russell does that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Being a music fan, one thing I tried that I saw a lot of engagement with was just posting my concert footage. So like I posted a clip of me at the Yeezus tour in like 2014, like a Kanye show.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and that one got a lot of engagement because I guess back then like it's not as popular as it is now to like record the whole show. So there's not a lot of like mobile footage of those shows back then. So I posted that and everybody was just like, your life's been complete, www. So I think that's one thing I think I was having fun with, just posting concert footage. Because yeah, people like to see that stuff, I guess. So.
But I think it's also inspiring you as a performer too. So
100%, because it's as an artist, concerts always inspire me. Like everything down to how artists move on stage, right? Kind of just gives me ideas on how I want to do certain songs and such. So that's one of the main reasons why I record shows, just so I can look back and be like, okay, how did Kendrick do this song, or how did he go about performing the intimate songs? How did he go about being live at the live songs? So that's one of the things I've experimented with. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we learned about editorial content, we learned about the algorithm, we learned about our personas, like who are we, what are we like sharing with others, and now it's more about filmmaking. So how now it's like people who have filmmaking experience are gonna win in the short form video space. So, but we can also develop these skills. Like I'm self-taught. I'm learning still. I'm watching a lot of videos about filmmaking on YouTube, and so it's really fun. So first we have to learn about pre-production, production, and post-production. And because the class is too short, we can't make videos here with each other, but if you do take my class, we can make some videos. So let me show you this video by my favorite director.
I think really the only useful advice I ever got in terms of, you know, trying to figure out your way into the film business, the film industry, is to get yourself a script and hang on to it. It's that idea, that screenplay, that concept, you know, whatever that's going to be, that's so important. And you have to stick to your guns. You have to find something that you can do that maybe other people couldn't do. And even if that seems different or doesn't fit into people's expectations, that's what's going to distinguish it if you can do it successfully.
So yeah, the power of a script is the power of a script is so important because hold on one sec. Because it's basically the foundation for whatever it is you're making. I mean, look at scripts people have made. It's just paper, and then it's become a movie. It's evolved over time. I mean, look at comic books. Comic books went from a physical comic book to now multi-billion-dollar movies, right? So it's the same thing with content production in a smaller scale, which is short form. It's very much its own niche because they're short films, but this is like a little bit more niche. They're more authentic, where you don't really require a script, but if you do script, it does help a lot. So first you have to choose your style. So make sure, so I have the students choose their style, choose their type, and then usually I have them put it into this chart, and then it'll really help them like flesh out the video. So what's the purpose of the video? This is what you need to know. What's the purpose of this video? What am I trying to do with this video? Like for example, my video that I'm working on with the 1 week documentary or about my social media strategy is I want to show people what a social media strategist does, but also I want people to either want to work with me, want to hire me, want to take my class, whatever it is. So write down all the purposes. What's the purpose of this video? And then write down the video description. What is this video? What's the description of this video? And this will help you with writing copy or a caption for the video. One thing I like to tell students as well is no one watches content like this anymore. They're not reading the caption, right? This is what normally Instagram is. Well, this is what short form is now.
You are being brainwashed to watching this video.
Nobody is reading captions. The caption is for the algorithm. TikTok is trying to compete against Google. It's going after YouTube and it's going after Google. It's literally like Gen Z uses TikTok for search more than it does Google. Google's like blog era is collapsing. So when you're making a caption for social, for your short form, it's for the algorithm. It's not for people to read. No one's gonna read this. People are watching the video. That's why it's so important to have captions on screen, titles on screen, because people are reading it. So again, remember I said editorial content? This is a video article. That's what this is, but it's just video. Yes? Oh, the mic?
When you say the caption is for the algorithm, do you mean like they use the hashtags on the caption to push your content? That's what you mean?
So before, when Instagram first started, it was using people were so let me see how I can explain this. The algorithm reads the video, it reads your voice, it reads what you're saying, it reads the title you add onto it, it reads the captions, and it reads the on-screen captions too. So everything is for the algorithm, but the on-screen stuff is also for the person watching. So some of this is for the person watching and some of this is for the algorithm to file your thing, to file your video into the place where you want it to file, so it could share it to people that are interested in the stuff you're
so it's still important.
Very important. Yeah, the captions are very important. The post captions are very important. The on-screen captions are important. And make sure you're using Instagram's captions. Make sure you're using TikTok's captions. Don't go into into the Captions app and adding a caption, because the algorithm cannot read that. It's just reading it like a video. Because if that's a lot of labor. It takes hour to post one video, just one video. And I have to import it into each and every platform and add in the title and add in the captions manually, but it helps with the algorithm. So like this guy, I think these captions don't come from Instagram. They come from his, like another app or something. What's that? Yeah, or Adobe or whatever. I recommend, like this one doesn't come from, yeah, that's the captions app. So I would recommend, especially for new creatives, to use Instagram's captions, basically. So there's a little sticker, I don't know if you see it, it's like a little face and you click on that and it says captions, use that. That's a good question, yes.
So on the example you have there for the purpose, or often's purpose, and it's talking about show the creation of a song that he just released. But you also spoke a little bit into the deeper intention too. It's not just to share, it's to get people to be excited about the song or to want to buy it, or so those are all the things you're saying listing inside of that, so you're making sure to hit all of those aspects and starting to learn how to actually drive people to what the deeper intention is of just the share, right?
Yes, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that you know, because it's more like your goals. What are your goals for this piece of content? Because when people are just making ads, they just want people to buy, but then they're not thinking about the other people that are watching it. They're just thinking, oh, I'm going to push this ad to people, and they're going to watch it. Like, people can swipe away. People can have ad blockers. Like, I have an ad blocker on my computer, you know, so, yeah. Good question. Yeah, so then you add your style, your type, content branch, or, and then hashtags. Go ahead.
Is there going to be a Q&A at the end?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so people talk about the hook. What is this hook? How do you hook people? A really good way to think about it is the title of a newspaper. That's the hook. So you engage and then explain. That's what a newspaper does, right? It says, hey, the Titanic sank, this many people drowned or whatever. And then if you want to read that article, it gives you more information. That's basically, that's a formula for news. It's also the formula for PR as well. And so if you use this formula, it really helps a lot too. So making sure you have a good hook and then you're sharing information. That's why scripting helps a lot. Let's see. Okay, and then you have your frame. So add the frame in there, the action, what's happening in the video, what's the script, and maybe a picture or a clip of what you want to happen. And then the frame number 2, what's happening next, and then what is the person saying. And then frame 3, what's happening? Oh, we need a clip of the producer doing X, Y, and Z. And then clip number 2, what's in the next frame? So just break it down frame by frame, especially when you're making like documentary style content. This is really helpful. So yeah, and now you can produce the content. So filmmaking, so horizontal for YouTube, vertical for short form. That's the key to short form. TikTok was trying to push horizontal video, but not a lot of people cared. So, you know, so it didn't really work, but vertical for short form. And then post-production, so recommendations for post-production. I like Adobe, I like Premiere Pro a lot. CapCut is owned by TikTok, so if you use CapCut, they give you, I don't know, algorithm points or whatever. So if you use their, and it's free. CapCut works really well for most videos, especially if they're not too complex. CapCut really works if you need like editing software. You can use it on your phone, you can use it on your computer too. So it really helps a lot. You can also, if you edit inside their apps, you even get more algorithm points. So editing inside their app also helps. So if you're making a green screen video and you're like literally recording yourself on their app, that also helps too. You get advantages for that too. But yeah, so you can use the higher end software like Premiere or Final Cut, or you can use like free software or the apps themselves. And then you upload the videos. There's a whole posting strategy for this. Like I said, it takes me 1 hour just to post one video. That's on top of already making the video. So there's a whole posting strategy because you need to add titles, you need to add captions, you need to make sure. You can also do a trick where you add a bunch of keywords and then you make it really small and then you hide it in the corner. That's another hack as well, that you want the algorithm to pick up the video too. And then, okay, so now the goal is for you to be an editor-in-chief and a filmmaker, and that's the goal. And so hopefully I helped you realize that that's a really good space to be in terms of short form and long form video too. Okay, so what did you guys learn today? Thank you. What did you guys learn today? You want to go first? You have a mic? So what did you learn, and then also if you have questions too.
I think I really appreciated the beginning of the lecture, which is what I think a lot of people when they talk about social media kind of like undermine, which is like we don't necessarily know how to present ourselves unless we know ourselves intimately well and what we stand for and what we don't stand for. And I think a lot of times I've heard peers and friends tell me like, oh, my goal is to go viral. My goal is to like be big without having any of the why. And so I feel like I really am internalizing, like spending a lot of time understanding like, what am I trying to say? What are my emotions around this? Why is this even important to share? Beyond like vanity metrics.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess my question was around sort of like resource management. Like I produce my own shoots and music videos, and I sometimes will promote the content. But I've noticed that when I promote the content, I'll get a lot of followers, but they're not necessarily like super engaged. So I was wondering if you think it's a better idea to focus resources on promoting existing content or creating new content. Like if I have a budget, let's say of 500, I'm trying to like understand how to allocate that based on what is happening right now on social media.
To make more content, depends, like what do you want the people to do? Do you want them to buy something? Do you want them to show up to events? Like what do you want them to do? Like the followers that you do have.
Yeah, I think ideally the current followers would convert to real fans, which is like people that come to events and purchase merch.
I mean, I would always advocate for more content. That's just my thing, because you never know. Maybe there's another content pillar or another content, editorial content that you can produce that gets you a different kind of audience that is more engaged, and maybe most people don't think about, for example. You can activate them. So I would say make more content. That's my thing, is like always make more content. Yeah. Yay. Who wants to go next? So what did you learn in the questions?
Today I would say I learned a lot about the different types of content that we could create, from skits to tutorials, listicles, which stood out to me, commentary, challenges, vlogs. So all different things, and how to apply it to my brand as opposed to like the things that I've been doing, and kind of just like shooting shots to see if they stick. Now like having a strategy and a formula to apply it, that's tried and true by many others. And also the captions, like I didn't realize that the algorithm was reading the ones on the screen, which makes sense why a lot of people, I thought they were just doing it to be trendy, but it kind of makes sense, why those videos are doing so well. So yeah, just implementing that. I guess a question I would have is, with all this short form content and everything, how to keep your viewer engaged, even if you have like an array of different types of content. Because I know some people like have things like, I don't know, I'm a multi-hyphenate, multifaceted artist, so aside from my enthusiasm for food and love for that, I also love makeup, and I do makeup tutorials, and I do things like that, but I also am a DJ and I'm an artist. So just kind of like, what's your advice on, kind of like keeping, because I know there's different people there for different things, so kind of organizing that content, or like letting them know this is for this, but I don't know.
There's this video I saw where this girl was like, she said, there's this like dentist chef, I forgot, she's a dentist and she's also a chef, and she loves interior design. And then she's like, should I make 3 different accounts? And then the girl said, no, make one. Like keep it in one, because how many dentist chefs, interior designers are there? Not very many, right? So I would say keep it in one account. because, okay, for example, my account's about history and like uncovering history, and I went viral because of that. And then I stopped posting because I got a bunch of death threats and stuff. And I was like, dang, I really want to keep posting. What do I do? And I was like, I'm gonna post something else. And I went viral because of that. It was like cooking videos with my mom. So, and then now I'm making other kinds of videos. So, and I remember seeing like the different kinds of people that are coming to my account because of the different kinds of videos that I'm posting. But also remember that most people who follow you don't see your content anyways. So be true to the, like, it's like you be true to your interests, not to the followers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I guess my biggest fear was like losing some of the people because of the content. Like, oh, well, they're here for music, but they're here for makeup, but they're here for this. But I guess another question I would have is, what's your take on having the content be not on your tile? Like, let's say you make a reel, because I've heard mixed reviews about this. But let's say you make a reel and you don't want it on your feed, but it's on your real feed. So what's your take on that?
I was gonna make a comment about what you said about having multiple interests. I would say when you mix them, it's like you're mixing. Different. Like you let's say you make like a music, like a DJ video mixed with like a foodie video, and then you connect those communities because they didn't know. They're like, oh, let me take you to a shop that inspired this song for me, or whatever it was, right? You're able to kind of like mix communities together, and then it creates a new genre. There's that. And then the answer to your other question, I hate Instagram's tile stuff. I hate that. I hate it. I hate when clients are like, oh, it has to be pretty. Nobody gives a shit about your tiles. Like, honestly, I hate it because Instagram is no longer a feed of photos. Instagram is a video app now. And so what I would recommend, the only strategy that I would say for that, let me look at somebody's account. The only strategy that I recommend for that is, so I guess these people have different feeds. Like Instagram's changing their feed where the square is now going to become vertical. So now everybody who has these square feeds, they're going to get vertical. And there's a video that I have in another presentation where it talks about that. But I would say, I think I've seen this where people don't put their reel on their feed, and it does better because they don't put it on their feed. So it gets released but I would say test it out. Yeah. That's what I would say, test it out. But let me show you actually, that's a really great point because I can show you a video about this. Not about Instagram. Let me see if it's in here somewhere. Might be in here, I don't know. But it's a video of the Instagram CEO talking about the feed situation and how they're like, we don't prioritize the feed, because I know people see it as like a portfolio and like a website, like a pseudo website. But I would say I'm against it. I'm just like, I don't care about it. I just make content. Who cares? That's what I would say. But if you care, just remove it from your feed. Basically, that's what I would say. I can't find it, but it's fine.
And one more thing, just to apply what you were saying, I think that's brilliant to kind of create the DJ content, and then because with the use of audio, you could, other people are going to use your reels. So I thought about doing mixes live and then like just applying them to like makeup videos. One of my really good mentors, Uri Hall, he does like Find Your Friends and See You Soon. But he actually goes viral for these like mixes where it's like he'll put like sexy red, like, you know, with like a very transient Soho House type of vibe. And yeah, people just use it as the aesthetic for whatever their lifestyle content is. So I thought about doing some stuff like that too. But just trying to like implement it first. So
yeah, that's a good idea, because I feel like because you're so you can just pass it around, because you're so multi-passionate, mixing things together makes it super fun. Like it just really, you're basically creating a new genre of video basically. So You're welcome.
What did I learn today? The protagonist and antagonist thing. Never really thought about that. I think that can provide a lot of structure to help you produce more content. So I'm definitely going to be utilizing that. As far as questions go, I have 3 fairly quick questions. I think you already answered it just earlier. I was going to ask, do you recommend using a certain font or text color for like the titles of the videos, like that one account you just showed where it was all uniform, it was all yellow?
I don't remember.
That one.
This one?
It kind of looks a little bit too, I don't want to say gimmicky, but I mean it's organized, but I've always wondered that.
I would say be careful with short form to be too promotional or too like uniform or anything like that, because people are going to perceive it as an ad. So when stuff is too perfect, people are like, no, this is an ad, swipe. And that's very anti, like, that's especially because if we grew up with television, everything needs to be perfect. Magazines, everything needs to be perfect. And short form is all about authenticity, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look the best. It's about the message, not the aesthetic, if that makes sense. Unless you're like a fashion, if you're into more of the fashion stuff. I would say, if you want to know like colors, I would Google something like the meaning of colors, because there is a meaning of colors. So Google it and see, like, because I know like red and yellow make you hungry or something. That's why like McDonald's is red and yellow. So like certain colors will bring out certain emotions. So I would say like Google it and see like, oh, which color should I use? And whatever you want people to feel. So if you want to be an authority figure, it's like blue, like dark blue is very authority. So it just depends on what colors you want to use.
Otherwise, it doesn't really matter if I'm using different text for each video. Okay.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
And then it seems like there's no way of getting around having to manually add overlay text for a video if you're uploading the same video to both TikTok and Instagram. So you got to do double the work.
Yeah.
If you want to utilize the fact that the algorithm reads the text.
Yeah, that's why you can't schedule content anymore. All the content, I don't know, like all the content scheduling apps, they might have a little bit of trouble because you can't schedule videos anymore, especially on Instagram. I think you can schedule them, but if you don't have a collaborator on the video, but you still have to schedule them on your phone through Instagram.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the third and final question. So obviously with short form content, TikTok, Reels, and YouTube Shorts, you got to film vertically. But what if you want to film content and then also possibly want to use it for regular YouTube videos? Is it better to film in vertical and then edit it in post-production so it can be horizontal? Or is it better to film horizontal and then use that video for YouTube, and then if you want to take clips from that or whatever, convert it to vertical? Does that make sense?
I would say YouTube pays you more money. If you do go viral, YouTube pays more money. So I would say either you can have 2 phones recording, where you have a vertical phone and a horizontal phone, or there's a strategy where you have you do film it vertically. You have one face on top and one face at the bottom, especially if you have faces on the video, or you just have to get really good at cutting through those videos. Like that's what I do for the FYI show, for Will.i.am's show. They give me a vertical video, and then I have to like make sure that
everyone fits.
Everyone fits in frame. So you just got to go frame by frame by frame. Sometimes that's what you have to do.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So I didn't hear you mention this word in here, but I've heard it in the past, like talking about your content pillars.
Yes.
Right. And we've looked at the different ways in which we can create content and having them have a certain way, like the listicles and this and that, but where does content pillars fall inside of that? Because then that would also be a place to plug those in.
Yeah. That's a good question. So at agency work, they say content pillars, they'll say content buckets, and they'll use them interchangeably. The pillars are for the house that you're building for your content. I used to say content tree, so it was like a branches, which was really fun, but I'm kind of got into these frameworks where it was a circle, and then you can add more circles, kind of like planets. So think of them like you're a planet. It's like you have the sun, which is you, and then the planets that revolve around you. And then so for example, you said listicles. So let's say your whole channel is about listicles, but then the interests fit inside of here. So let's say like Ray Gun. Let's say you love you love leafing through Ray Gun magazines, and that's one of your, and you're showing them the top 5 favorite magazines. That's one right there. So it's like the interest, and inside the interest is where the types go into. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I kind of skipped over. I didn't talk about what I learned, but what I'm getting from this too could be an interesting parallel. Is looking at for those of us like myself that had multiple archetypes, looking at those also to be what type of content correlates to the type of archetype. You know, like oh, my food falls under lover, or this falls under this, or da da da. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Because I feel like some people are like, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to post. But if you look at yourself and just kind of break down what you love already, that's content right there. And then think about what you're learning. What are you learning, and what are new things that you want to learn? And that's also content right there too. Good.
What I learned is that I need to spend a little bit more time on the why, the archetypes, and writing out the story in order to pull content from that, because I'm definitely that person that doesn't know what to post. And then a couple of questions. Do you, just starting out, do you just go for posting on one platform, or do you focus? Because I just started and decided to start with Instagram, but based on what you shared, I feel like I need to switch and focus on TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know where my slide went. Let me find it. One sec. Because there is a slide that I do have. I'll show it to you here somewhere. Should be here. Where's my slide? Ah, here's my slide. It wasn't in here, but let me show you the slide. Oh, here it is. Okay, so yeah. So I would say when I say TikTok, I mean short form video. Short form video first. Everything goes on to the other platforms, because the other platform, they used to matter, because Twitter was about status updates. Instagram was about filtered photos. Facebook was about our friends. Every app started differently, and so you had to play in these games differently. But everyone started to move into short form, and so now everything is about short form. So I would say focus on short form video and post it on all these other platforms. The most cutting edge the most cutting edge space you can make content in is TikTok, and then put it on the other ones. And I would say sometimes your videos will do well on TikTok, sometimes they'll do better on Instagram, and it'll go back and forth.
So it's okay to post the same thing?
Yes, it's okay to post the same thing. Just make sure that you're manually posting each video, and there's no text on the video, there's no watermark, there's nothing. It's like a blank video, and then you're uploading it to each platform individually.
Got it. Another question, you mentioned it takes you 1 hour to post, so I don't feel that bad, because when I first started, it took me all day to just post one video.
Yeah.
What is just an overview of your workflow from the time?
Good question.
Yeah, do you video things every day and then edit them one day and schedule them? That's what I hear most people do. What is your workflow?
I would say, let me see what client I could show you. I manage everything in Asana. I think this is fine. I manage everything in Asana. This is free. And basically, I just have like the video idea. Where's my video? Hold on. Oh, here we go. Well, here's one of them. So basically, I manage it in Asana. So like, here's a video idea that I have, and then I'll add the script, and then I'll add the script in here, and then once I'm done with the video, I can either put it in here into Asana, or I'll add the link depending. I would say in terms of content, either have a schedule for yourself. Is it once a day? Are you making content once a day? Are you making content once a week? Like for me, that video I said, the 1 week as a social media strategist, I have a list of the things I want to cover, and then make sure I grab clips all day. So the whole week I'm just recording little clips, and then at the end of the week I'll put it together. I'll show you some of my stuff. I don't know if it'll, let me see. I don't know if it'll fit what you are doing, but I can show you some of my stuff. Let me see. Like I do a lot of green screen stuff now. So like, here's a green screen video. So this is a report. I'll pull the report, grab all the screenshots, and then I'll write the script, and then I'll record it. This is what I was doing every day. Depends on your schedule. You can't schedule videos. You have to manually post them. So even if you do have a schedule and you want to post every day, you need to manually post every single day. Yeah. Thank you. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So obviously, in my opinion, it's easier to edit a video like on a laptop. But obviously, you're gonna have to export the video from your phone to your laptop, which may lower the quality of it. So let's say I'm trying to make a video in which I need to like precisely like cut certain clips and then rearrange them within the timeline.
Mhm.
Can you easily do that within CapCut on your phone? And then also, is there an easy way to do it with Instagram? Because I think you can only use CapCut with TikTok. Is that correct?
Yeah. I never edit in Instagram. I always edit in CapCut or TikTok or Premiere. Yeah, so the editing software inside of the apps has gotten so much better where you can clip the space you want and then move it over. Even if you're recording it, like if you record it from the app, you can still do that too. You can still cut the space and then move the video over wherever you want it to be.
And then what do you use for Instagram to edit? Or do you just export it from...
Honestly, I use CapCut.
Oh, you can use CapCut. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Awesome.
But yeah. Question? Go ahead.
That was actually going to be one of my questions.
Okay.
Is can we use CapCut, or would we get penalized somehow from saving like a blank video from CapCut and having that raw video without text or anything, and then uploading that edit into Instagram?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any problems with it because Instagram doesn't have its own like proprietary editing
I
software.
figured like then you'd have to like edit the same video somewhere else. That
No,
could get
no,
really
I would
crazy.
not recommend that.
Okay, no, okay, cool. Well, what I learned today was just thinking about my own feed and social media accounts is don't make ads. I think a lot of the stuff I've been working on has been a little too silly, so I think I'm gonna crush that and stop doing that. That was very helpful to just hear you say I hate ads. So
Yes, they
good
are my
stuff.
arch nemesis.
And I think just naturally to that is I need to spend more time doing the pre-production work on my social media. Like I think a lot of musicians like have to make that transition. You know, we put a lot of time in the studio into the pre-production. We kind of have to like equate that to social media needs the same amount of care and attention
That's a good,
for it to work.
yeah,
And I think there's like a little bit of like a reluctancy to do it for a lot
Mhm.
of us. I know certainly with myself, but
Yeah.
that's the only way it's going to work. So that was
Mhm.
really cool and helpful to hear. Other than that, yeah, I was going to ask about CapCut for Instagram videos, and then yeah, that's it. Great. Thank you. That was very helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to go put money in my parking.
No, you're good. Anybody else have any questions or want to share? Do you want to share? Oh, go ahead. Share what you learned. Questions.
Thank you so much for the class. Seeing it as a video game completely changed perspective, so that was very helpful. And yeah, the whole first part, having it antagonized, having it like branding, how you have like archetypes is very, very helpful. I have a couple questions. Do you have any advice for DJs? Like, it's very hard to record yourself. Like, it's always like you're doing like cool events, but like you have no footage, you have no pictures because it's like, you know. Do you have any advice maybe how to?
Yeah, either designate a friend to be your documentarian, because that's what I am for often, and he's that for me. Like we're documenting each other's journey. Either have a friend who's a documentarian person, or have a tripod with you, and then you do the little clips. Especially if you're doing day in the life, just remember, like this is what I did. I have a whiteboard in my room, and basically I wrote down, okay, I need to grab footage from Skam Summer and FYI and this and that. On Monday, this is the footage I need to grab from here. And then I remember, okay, make sure just to grab a quick clip and then keep doing what I'm doing. So either you are your documentarian and then eventually you get a documentarian person to be your documentarian. But I would say you're going to have to be your own documentarian for a bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can get a 360 cam? Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was just posting videos from the gig,
very interesting?
Well, you can edit it in post-production so that you're showing like the audience, and then also like pan to yourself, so like there's more visual variation. But also too, like if you want to take just like videos on your phone, like sometimes I just have my phone open and then I have it like ready to go, the video, so that if something happens, I just pull it up and then hit record. That helps too. But,
That's what I do. I just noticed that maybe the content itself is not that interesting. It's just kind of like yeah, behind the scenes of what I do, but maybe if I explaining what I'm doing, it's like, hey, I'm at this venue, I'm at this is going on. Maybe a little bit more about the event. That would be more interesting.
Yeah.
You could tell like a story of like you could tell like a story about your set, for example, like how you got to this set, the people that connected you to the set, like give information to other people about maybe how you're navigating your career, how you're booking sets, you know, not necessarily maybe the music itself, but maybe the journey to getting to play your music might be more interesting. And then that's what you need to capture. Just, you know, you have to mindfully in the background be like, oh, I need to capture these other things before I go back home and then edit it all, you know?
I guess for you, what was your favorite magazine or blog? Because I think you didn't get that question. Do you want to give her the mic?
No.
Do you have any? Because I would say, like, think about you being like, what if you were the editor of a DJ magazine or a DJ blog, and then what would that magazine have in it? Would it, like, what would happen? Like, what would you show during a show? Like, what would you write in the article about? Oh, this show that I did. What happened in the show? Like, pretend like that is your article you're writing, and then make that into the video.
Thank you. It's make a lot of sense. And my second question, I noticed that sometimes people they do very short reel, like 5 seconds, and there's like, oh, 10 things, blah, 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 and specifically like read the captions, because then people start open it and read it, they spend more time, and it's keep looping, and it's how, and there's this kind of like a trick there, how people get.
I would say for TikTok, for like, I think it's Instagram, right?
It's Instagram, it's TikTok too, but so people can read. Like, I was wondering if it's really working, or what do you think about it?
I have not seen that, but I would say for TikTok only pays you if your video goes viral. Oh, it has to be over a minute, and that's how they circumvent like that kind of trick stuff. I think Instagram probably hasn't like made rules about it yet, because they still pay out a video like that. Yes, do that, but also I would say think about your audience too, and be like, it feels like you're tricking them. Not you, but the people are kind of tricking them. So I would say, what value do you want to bring to them? And if that video has value, then yeah, I would do it. If it doesn't, then
I think I work with the list, and then you say you just have in a caption, but you list like those things people can actually read.
Yeah, and that's a good hack. So they're still getting something out of it. Yeah. So I would always say, like, what's the value they're getting out of it, and then put that at the forefront, kind of thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anybody else want to share?
So I just want to say I really appreciate the feedback today, and also I've given some thought to your origin video.
Yeah.
And then I want to try out the green screen thing.
Cool.
So thank you for those tips.
Yeah, of course. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, you want to need anything, here's my info.